Hello, everyone in the future, everyone in the present, everyone that's going to be witnessing this. I just want to welcome you into the temple where me and the Invisibles have created this beautiful space every Wednesday to receive your questions for yourself, humanity, or the planet. And so this is a safe container, though quite expanded throughout the internet, where we can create space to understand that there is a connection between the unseen realms, and our ability to navigate and bridge those and is what I do with the Invisibles. And so the Invisibles are a group of spirit guides and mentors and allies that I work with, that I have been since I was a young girl. And they have, through a series of training, have brought me to the state of being able to trust them and have a strong enough kinship and my own personal journey through being able to hold and have the capacity for these kinds of beings. And so they channel through me. So every Wednesday is when I offer these questions. And I'm going to start just with this beautiful Tibetan bells and allowing this sound to send itself wherever you are, into your home, into your life, if you so choose, and just purifying everything that's come before you and everything to come. Here we go. And so while I am sharing this, I just want to welcome you to start allowing yourself to get into a space of receptivity. And I'm just going to press this button. And so in this space of receptivity, I want you into, what's your intention for being here? What's your intention coming and listening to these transmissions? Is there something that you're seeking to get out of these transmissions yourself? And knowing that this is, as a friend has put it, the world stage. So even though some of the topics that come up are actually brought forth through, another person, knowing that a lot of the time these themes in one's life can be really similar to somebody else. And so I've found that as many people that do ask questions, I find that there's always something to glean from that, from the wisdom that's coming through. So as we begin, I'm just going to set the intention here that, setting the intention that if there's anything that I've learned, it's important to ground. And so setting the intention that the earth, that this great Pachamama beneath us, this rooted structure of support who is here to hold us, is going to ground this information as well into your lives, into the lives of all the people that are affected. And to know that you can, I actually have it here, I'm going to put it, ding. So how I say it is believe it, receive it, leave it, or lend it. And so if anything comes up during this time that you're not quite sure is not quite sitting right for you, you're totally welcome to either, believe it, receive it, leave it, or lend it. And so if you want to lend it, you're just lend it into the earth and return to come back another day. So with that, knowing that that's the cause here, is taking what nuggets you're ready for, I'm going to put dun, dun, dun. And so the first part of this is usually where I get my own questions in. So something that's been coming up for me today is the power of friendships. And with so much happening in this cyber world, there's so many different connections that are spanning across the planet through the internet. And these friendships that are fused and fueled through these cyber connections, I'm also finding more and more how to create space for these physical world connections for the people in my life, that I can prioritize that. And so my question that I have for the Invisibles today is, what are some perspectives on how to blend the physical plane and the connections we have in our life, in our friendships that live in our close vicinity, that we can actually have physical connections with, and how do we honor those and honor the friendships that are blended and connected through the internet? So I'm curious to see what they have to say about the internet's connection with friendship. So here we go. Before you diagnose using the symptoms at hand, there's an internal diagnostic system that is one that determines where in the root of ailments from the experience and the expression of life in front of you, okay? So in life, if there is a system of friendship at play that is revolving around the connectivity of the internet, of the connectivity of this platform of communication, to know that in some ways what is being fed is that aspect of you that exists almost between the waking and the sleeping realm, between the seen and the unseen, for the connections that you have when they are not felt and touched and tangible. They feed a persona in some way. They feed a different aspect of yourself. Whereas creating the space to drop in the person with those that are near to you and dear to you is creating the space to, how do we say it? Claiming the vulnerability that comes with your authentic expression, undiluted, unrefined, where the interpretations of who you are up to the person before you, up to yourself as well. Whereas in the internet, when you have these connections that are spread across planets, across the planet, into different countries even, there's an authenticity that gets to be considered, how do we say this? In some ways manipulated, artfully crafted, where the resolution of who you are gets to be refined and defined by the identity you seek to express. Where the missing pieces, all the in-betweens that come with meeting in person, with these exchanges on the physical plane, all those slight intonations, those pauses, those stumblings, those aspects of you that blend and bind who you are and who you are expressing yourself to be. Being seen in those aspects is so deeply nourishing, is so deeply satiating, that to take that away from your experience, to disengage from the importance of that, is to find a hollowness that will not be able to be deeply satiated or fulfilled until that is nourished too. So we say to you, is there somebody in your life that is near enough that you can create an opportunity to go spend tea together, share stories, listen to them? And with that person in your life, why has it been, what are the reasons, the excuses for prioritizing your nearest relations, even your family, your close family, taking those priorities away due to the lack of, what's that word? Accessibility to the mind. Allow yourself to be accessible. Claim that you are accessible to all connections in your life, and that there is a time and space and presence needed to make that so. Thank you. Hello, everyone popping on. So that was about the balance of these connections, these cyber connections, and then the people in our lives that we have access to physically, and how do we blend that? How do we prioritize that in this quickening life? So for anyone that is new here, this is a great opportunity for you to put a question on, and you actually would be next in line because I don't have anyone queued right now. So if you have a question for yourself, humanity, or the planet, this is a great time of putting that on here and seeing what the invisibles have to say in their own perspective. And knowing that this is a world stage, this is, what is shared here might speak to you, whether it's a question that's been from you or not. So stick on if you're feeling a call, if there's wisdom to be gleaned and you feel an interest in that. So while I'm waiting for a question to be queued, I was thinking of maybe doing a little intermission song, which I do. It's my waiting for a question. Drink some tea. Yeah, and if you want to say hi, if you want to throw on who you are, because I can't even see who's here, but if you want to be more than the number in my corner, please do. I'm just going to, so this is a little song, and my intention is it's going to speak to a calling in song, a calling in of that which is needed for you, for the planet. Here we go. The planet, she holds herself in the womb of the space and all. And when the answers, they fall like rain down to the earth to be born again. For you know to quench your thirst in the satiating earth, when rhythm, reason finds you, develop the answers that are true, and look away from your past. Look a falling at last, and ahead of you, you see the divinity that is thee. All right. So it looks like we do not have any questions queued. So I just gotta ask another question. And, something that came up to me today is in relation to availability and accessibility, which is a theme if anyone follows my YouTube channel. And what I've experienced is that, like, even with being available and stepping forth here, like today I was going to like share this link in a few different places, and this voice came up, and the voice was like, oh, is this treading on, it was kind of this self-doubt. Is this treading on somebody's space, or like, is it my place to like bring myself and put myself in these new nooks, these new aspects, and these new pockets of connection? And in watching that, I was curious to watch that feeling of like blocking, or that feeling of enclosing my accessibility. And so I'm really curious to ask them what that's about, and knowing that that ripples into all these different areas of my life. So where is this part of me, and do they have anything to speak to people on the planet that have a lot to give and are in a place to be able to give it, but reaching this block, this membrane of doubt that can prevent all of this powerful wisdom, everything that's seeking to move through them. So speaking to the membranes, or these these aspects of us that block us from expansion. So that is the question. You can only expand as far as you can reach, right? No. This is the belief that's been passed down to so many people on this planet. That what is capable of being experienced in this life is at arm's length and no more. To keep dreams close, to keep connections at arm's reach. To only expand to where you can feel safe enough to grasp a hold. Safe enough that you don't need to leap towards your goal, that your goal is close, is steady, is reliable. Does that sound familiar? What if we were to tell you that the greatest expansion needed of you was first and foremost to see how you can expand deep into the core of who you are? Forget about the rest of the world for a moment. All the influences, all the expressions ahead of you. Who are you in the deep, deep areas of yourself? In that expansive, vast place that you dwell in, that all that you are is birthed from and brought into existence. Because if you cannot expand deeper and deeper within who you are, then the world is going to reflect itself by having opportunities that are only as wide as you've expanded inwards, if this makes sense. Think of a tree whose roots are as large as its branches, right? So what is in your life, whether it's a belief, whether it's a circumstance, that has you experiencing a block in deepening your relationship with yourself, a block in deepening trust with yourself? Because in order to expand, you must be able to trust deeply that you will be held and brought and returned to your center point in this transformation. That you will not be lost in the expansion, which so many fear. That in the art of expansion, one loses everything that was steady, everything that was a foundational experience or expression in one's life. To be grounded and to be expansive? Do these come together? Yes. However, we are not wanting you to mistake expansion for reaching, okay? Because reaching is taking a grasp, is to taking your attention or your desire and reaching and pulling outwards, seeking it, seeking to grasp, to bring something in towards you, right? Expansion happens simultaneously. It happens all at once. So if something in you is desiring expansion, can you only understand how as you are expanding within you, as you are allowing more spaciousness for the true, authentic expression of who you can be to show itself and share itself firstly with you, thus with the world. We're having opportunities of those around you will start to come into place like puzzle pieces, who are there to meet your expansion and to either ask deeper questions, witness you, have reflections for you. This is all part of your expansion. To see if you can meet these questions, if these questions can help alter or redirect the area, the arena of expansion you are going at. So know that as you do this inner work, as you expand and deepen your relationship with just how expressive you can be, know that everything on the exterior world will start to reflect that. It might not be so transparent to you yet, but if you set the intention that you're opening yourself to receiving the reflections of the world around you, to remind you of the expansion that is naturally occurring right now, so be it. Explore and enjoy. Thank you. Oh, I want to expand right now. If anyone else wants to stretch out, expand that body of yours, expand those arms, bring them up. I definitely can't lean over, but if you want to lean over, really stretching and expanding out those your vertebrae is really great, creating spaciousness. And I found that in my process of expanding from within is how can I expand my body? How can I create more flexibility and lucidness in my own body, and how that those two practices can link. So if there's something in my life sometimes that I feel I'm like a rigidity towards, whether if it's like a system or a circumstance or beliefs, or I'm like, oh, this is rigid, and I keep trying to wiggle and make it a little more smooth. But if that doesn't happen, I found that that's where yoga, that's where like movement and somatic practices really comes in. And so I'm a dancer, and in that art of dancing, I just move through that blocks. I move through what feels limited. And even after an hour, I definitely feel a difference. So for everyone that's here, welcome to the Temple of the Invisibles. You're in the gold room today with me. And I don't actually have a question queued. So if you're just popping on, you have an opportunity to ask yourself, ask a question for yourself, humanity, or the planet. And I go into a bit of a trance state and work with a group of spirit guides who can offer you some support in that answer. And just to know that if you're popping on, maybe there is a question that is deep in you somewhere that you might not even know why you pressed this button, but maybe it's because there's an answer for you, or some answers through the different transmissions that come through. So just waiting on another question to queue up. And while I am waiting, if anyone wants to like say hi, how you guys doing, wherever you are, or say where you are in the world, that would be fun, because as far as I can tell, you're just a number in the corner. And I know you're way more than that, you beautiful being you. So I am calling from Salt Spring Island in BC on a beautiful 18-acre parcel of land. We've got ponies, and the cherries are so ripe right now. So that's a bit of my world on the trees out here in the orchard. So while I'm waiting on a question, I will just do another intermission song. Here we go. And you're also welcome to put a suggestion for an intermission song if you want, because I just kind of make them up as I go. Before that, just clearing the space, sending this frequency to wherever you are on the planet. You belong not to the rhythm, but the rhythm moves through you. You take just what is needed, and what's needed will move through you. So show yourself compassion and light up the world for you. You know the answers leave when your toes stuck upon the ground, and when your arms believe that there's something to reach out for, that there's something to belong to, that there's someone to hold that door. When your arms are full, when your life feels that you may walk with ease, no matter what, that you may flow with ease, no matter what, that you may receive, no matter what. All right. So I feel like I can do whatever I want over here. So I'm just gonna, this is an amazing tool. If anyone's ever seen these before, I'm putting together a class on energetic hygiene, and some of the tools that I use on the physical plane is actually this. And so this is from Ghana, and it might be too loud to totally use, but these are really great for like shaking off heavy energies in a space. They can get really loud. I think it would blow the speakers, so I'm not going to do it in the full velocity, but I'm just going to set the intention that this is just moving any blocks in this space, any blocks in my own auric field, any blocks in the space that I'm in, anything that might need to shift. If there's anything in your own life that you have permission, your spirit grants permission to, allow these to come into your space and just give you a little sweet shake off. So there we go. I'll just sing a little clearing song. All right. So please, if anyone can ask a question, I really am here for you, and it is questions queued. So if that feels right to you, and I also honor if you're not in a place to ask a question, but even a question that can be pretty neutral is just saying, do the invisibles, if there's anything that they see, anything that they see for you. So that's one that was used the last transmission. So invisibles, is there do you pick up on anything? And then that doesn't necessarily have to go into trying to articulate your question. So that's an option. And moving on, I was thinking that if there's no questions, I'm just going to let them speak maybe, because I feel pretty good on questions myself, and we'll just let them have a teaching, and maybe they'll just be answering your questions that you haven't spoken to yet. Okay. We know that there's something that has been lost within your life, because humanity has lost something within its own life. Just as a mother, though gives birth to a child, the placenta itself, she does give birth to. Something that gave nourishment, that fed that child, that was made and created of her own life force. That too must be birthed out. So in your life, know that to be born on this planet, whatever was nourishing you, whatever might have been keeping your spirit fueled and alive in some ways, from possibly your past incarnation, from another exploration through the stars, that may have been lost in some way. That there is a process that happens when you develop a sense of surety of your path on this planet that begins to disengage. There's a natural disengaging with aspects of who you are that begin to release themselves. Just like static electricity releases itself through touch. You can feel it bounce, it move away from whatever has conducted it. You must understand, we hope that's right, that's our interpretation. You must understand that without doubting the reasons for why you came to this planet, there is a more important desire for us to ask you, why have you decided to stay? Why have you chosen to continue this path on this planet? And this should have at least 3 to 5 answers. A personal reason, something that you're actually receiving on in your own personal way. 2, something that you decide to give, a purpose that you feel called to bring to the planet and its inhabitants while you're here. Okay. 3, the purpose of receiving wisdom to be encoded within you and to be shared with all the beings that co-inhabited this space, but moreover, the beings that are coming into your life to receive in some way the vibrational antidotes that we all carry. You may not understand quite how the nature of reality works, and neither do we in most ways, but we can say that to allow yourself the responsibility of being accessible to the needs of those that you're in contract, in energetic contract to meet, this requires you to create some space in your life to honor that contract and that commitment by allowing those sensations you receive when there is somebody that comes in your life where there's a spark or a curiosity, sometimes even an aversion. These contracts, these soul contracts. To know that whether you're conscious or not about the soul contracts you have, about the people that are coming and will come into your life, the ones that you are ready to offer a missing vibrational link through communication, through action, through sharing beliefs, perspectives, inspiring. Just by being you, just by walking in your own existence, your existential footstep, one of them said, you can see and taste just how much space there is for you on this planet. Because as you walk in your path, on your course of action that's designed for you and the world alike, you'll also find a spark of genius within each of those footsteps, because to move forward in life, to express yourself, to take action, to choose to make movements, means an inspired genius lies within you. And that inspired genius doesn't need validation, doesn't need a compass etched in their skin to navigate them. It is that genius that has been hardwired by life itself to know how to accompany, to be the accompaniment of what comes to you through life. To know how to stay and lead when it is time to lead, to accompany when it is time to accompany, and to bring forth the courage and strength and resilience to open the doors for others, even if you don't feel that there's much to show. To open those doors to parts of yourself that you're in contract to share with another, you're in contract to share with the world, you're in contract to bring to the earth. But if those doors are closed, if that amniotic sac never broke, never opened itself to relax and release you into this world, well, that would have been the end of that story. So if there is something that has been accompanying you in your life that for a long time may have felt like a protective mechanism or a supportful mechanism, if there is a feeling of restriction and you may be trying to contemplate how that restriction is perhaps just your instincts trying to protect you, trying to restrict you so you can be safe, perhaps take another look. Listen a little longer. Maybe slowly open these restrictions, creating the sacred safetiness, sacred safety, the welcoming of who you are and what you have to bring to this planet at a pace that is gentle enough but sure enough that headway and momentum maintain strong. Thank you. Wonderful. So everyone, that was Invisibles speaking to whomever they were speaking to. Maybe it was all of you. And I would just want to, I'm just going to encourage whoever's on, we still have space for another question. We have space for a few questions. So if you're ready for a question to come through you, or just to receive some insight or guidance as to where you're at in life, if there's a question that you have for humanity, please share. I would love that. And I'm going to try doing this to see if it works. Dun, dun, dun. There's my not quite heart. All right, so that does work. All right, well, if I don't hear another question, I'm probably just going to take a moment while I'm waiting for a question, and I'm going to share this because that is what I didn't do earlier. So I'm wondering if that has affected my ability to receive questions right now by me not stepping forth. So if there's a page you want to share this to, that's also, you can do that as well. So I'm thinking I'm going to share it to, maybe I'm going to share it right here to an event that I'm doing called Energetic Hygiene. And I'm sharing it. All right. Well, maybe that opened the space. Okay, well, since there is no questions queued, if anyone's popping on, you totally have a chance for a question. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep speaking to what's present and what's lucid right now. So, I think that this question is maybe one for humanity and asking the invisibles if there's a way of witnessing life that actually can ripple as healing, sweet, gentle healing to the planet. So connections, wanting their perspective on how we see and witness the world and how it affects the world itself. That's the question that I feel wanting to come through. So let's see. Don't be eager to find a solution, to find resolution, or resolution or a solution. We desire to seek transformation. And in the art of transformation, there is a puzzle that can only be put together as life unfurls itself outwards. It's not that there is a completion mark that we are trying to work up towards. That we have the image and all we have to do is use our creativity, our ingenuity, and put the pieces together to get to the destination. That is not what life looks like in our perspectives. Life looks like the artist standing in front of the blank canvas. And as an emotion comes through them, the paintbrush splatters. As desires move through them, the pencil etches. And that the end result may seem messy, but it's only the creation and the exploration of life desiring to witness the impulsive emotions, the impulse of life and how that moves through us, what that appears like, what life turns that into, what our desires begin to look like as they meet those that can fulfill them. But just like the painter, when the canvas is full, when the feeling of completion comes, when you get to those moments in your life, those nectar moments, those sweet, sensual completion, those ahs, those deep breathing yeses, those sighs of relief, just like the painter who has chosen to stop, to put that brush down, to receive and witness what has been created. Okay. But then life comes again, and a new canvas, a new medium, a new way of exploring. Perhaps there's more collective exploration, trusting into the surrender needed to create with others. So why is this related to the question? Okay. The question regarding what you can do if your thoughts, if your ideas, if your perspectives affect the planet. Vibrationally, when they're within you, yes. For vibrationally, all things have an impulse. They all have a reaction in some way, even microscopically. But just like the painter, if you take those thoughts, take those perspectives, and allow them to navigate and support the actions of expressing them in life, it is the actions that can create a greater ripple. But the actions have come after the impulse, right? Sometimes after years of contemplation. So without all of these internal ideas and reflections, introspections, articulated desires, so much in the world would be existing between the veils, like stardust. So your thoughts and how you perceive are important, but how you allow yourself to take action with the navigation of these perspectives is what changes and affects the world. Thank you. Right. Well, that was for you all and for all of those in the future that watch this throughout space and time, these universal perspectives. So I have space for a few more questions. So if you're popping on and this is new for you, this is a great opportunity. Well, I can put this up, my fancy little button. Ding, ding. This is a great opportunity for you to ask a question for yourself, the planet, or humanity. And to know also that you can also be a conduit of a question. So maybe it's a question that doesn't necessarily feel super burning for you, but it's coming forth, like it's knocking on your door. It's here as an offering to all those that get to witness this. So knowing that that's also part of the questioning is just kind of helping navigate the teachings during this time. So this is the first time I've ever had no questions from the outside world. So it's new for me, but I mean, I've got plenty of, I hope you all are enjoying just free flow and are able to glean from that. But I really do want to answer your questions. So that is a big perk of why I arrive here. So I'm going to give a little more space. And, you know, if it's a question that you want to ask and you're feeling a little shy asking it through the feed, I figured out how you can ask it through a private message to me if you would like. I might even check to see if anyone has one. Okay, no. So I should be able to see if that pops on. And also if anyone wants to just say hi or that you can hear me, because I've had no comments this whole transmission. And I see you guys are there, but a little motivational click. You can even just write a letter, like the letter Q would be sweet. But maybe you're busy. This is in the background while you're watching the kids. All right, so I'm just going to go on, and since there are no questions that I can see, let's see. I feel like this is something to do with, you know, for anyone that's aware, you know, I'm going to be teaching, I have a series of classes that I've started that I'm putting together called Energetic Hygiene, Not Mine, What Next? And I'm preparing to to teach some on the weekend in Victoria, BC, and then here on Salt Spring Island, and then going to Toronto. And in this practice and in this process, oh, yay! Somebody wrote a comment on a different share. That makes me wonder. Oh, I wonder if... All right. Well, wonderful. So I am not just on thin air by myself. Thank you, Ali. Well, Ali, if you, I guess you had a, okay. Well, you had a comment. So thank you for commenting. I appreciate that. All right. But since there's no questions, I honor that. You know, if there's no question burning for you, then that's fine. I'm just gonna go to what I was getting to with this cultivation and cultivating what's within us that wants to be birthed with, you know, on the outside, and what that devotion, what that looks like. Oh, great. Perfect. Okay. Oh, it seems like a lot of people. Yay! It's a community. For some reason, I haven't been able to see anyone's comments. Oh dear. That makes me wonder though. Oh, let's see. So if there's a bunch of comments that I'm not seeing, oh dear. I'm wondering how to, let's see. Just bear with me for a moment because now I'm seeing where you all commented. And that makes me feel really good because I'm like, I think, feel people. Okay, great. I'm seeing the questions now. All right, so this is for you. Let's see who is first. So Donald. So Donald is wondering if you have any guidance for me regarding the planned sale of my business as I seek a new path for my life. All right, let's see. Everyone, thank you for bearing with me. This is all kind of new. All right, so this is for you, Donald. I wonder if there's a way. I think I can just, I'm just going to do this. Bear with me a moment. This is a question for anyone that wants to see it from Donald. All right. Don't do what's right in front of you. Do what's been behind you, if that makes sense. So know that there is something that you might have left behind, or something that was on the back burner, or an idea or a vision that has had to be patient in some ways, maybe forgotten, but we don't think so. And so before taking the steps of doing what seems in front of you, we want you to look into what has developed from the choices you've made, and then what is a choice or an inspiration or something that has been behind you. That's something you'll have to figure out. That time is come. That's time. It's come to surface again because it is seeking to be witnessed for its vulnerability, yet its potency. Okay? So sometimes in life, the images or the visions we have or the ideas, they may seem vulnerable. They may seem like the world cannot hold them. Right? And that in order to be held by the world has to prove to you that it's safe enough to hold such a tender, precious, intimate part of yourself. And sometimes those are the most needed visions or dreams or desires. The ones that the world hasn't proven to be able to take care of, but are needed to be sent into the world to create space for life to develop the structure and support, to meet, to match, to connect. This vulnerable yet potent aspect of the divine seeking to move through you or others. Others may be involved, right? Sometimes, though it's the world we talk about, it's also others in your life. Do you feel like you can be held during this part of this time of transition by others in your life in ways that they may have not held you before to the same capacity? Can you allow the vulnerability within you to take a statement, to put itself out in the world, and to say, world, I am ready for you to support the potency that is needed through me, for you world, for you family, for you friends, for you planet, for you humanity. I am ready to be in divine right relationship with the presence that desires to take form in actions, in offerings. I am ready to allow the vulnerable parts of myself to surrender just enough to create space, to be held, to remind themselves that I can be cared for during this process, just as I've cared for many in theirs. So leave no string untied when creating a hammock, right? Knowing that there are many pieces that you have been working on for a long time. Just like the symbolism of a hammock, it begins with many strings. And it is the knowledge and the desire to make a resting place, to make a net, to make a support system, to use hands, to use your actions and intentions, to begin to weave and tie those pieces one by one together. Then going to the next row. And we can tell you that you are very far along. But until a hammock has been completed, it may seem abstract. It may not seem like something that can support you. Okay? Like the business, in some ways, that's been supporting you and many. But we're seeing that whatever has been building in the back burners, whatever skills and opportunities and development and strategies even that you've learned to create the desired goal, you're close. Possibly even by next November. Okay, something is going to find a completion route. We're getting 2 dates. Oh, whoop. They want me to interpret this one. I was seeing, I think it was August. My brain's kind of, August 2012 possibly was a year. And then there's also something 2008. 29 or 2006. Sometimes the 6s and the 9s go upside down. I don't know. Those were just some dates I heard. And the image I had too was, just knowing that you've been working on something, that there's something that has been developing and growing, and it's almost ready to be turned into what, well, almost, there's still a little way. Like when I saw an image, they showed me this image of this hammock and I saw, just say that the hammock needs to be this long. It was like about here. So it's like that much more. So you've got over the hump, but whatever's been cultivating, like this image that there's still more to go for it to be usable, for it to actually be able to support you. But you're close, and that it's been done well. You've been doing it well. So when you're complete, if you choose to follow through with whatever this is, maybe you have an idea, I'm not sure, but know that it's done well and it will support you. There is work to be done. You're not complete yet. Progress has been made. So that I think is probably more towards whatever's been motivating you from behind. They really want you to encourage yourself to like feeling into the behind you realm. All right. So, oh, thanks, Allie, for telling me about the other. Okay. So moving on. That was for you, Donald. And so the next question we have, let's see. Through the share, we've got, let's see, where is my next question from you, Allie? I believe it was just asking if there's anything they had to see. Because it's not popping up where I'm working, I'm going to have to do a little hunting. But Allie, actually, if you're on right now and you have that question, so for anyone else that's popping on, we've had some technical difficulties. If there's a way of sharing on the Be Live thread itself, I don't know if that's different, but I haven't been able to see the Facebook content if you found this on a share. So I'm working on that. So I'm just going to do a little more hunting, or you can send me a personal message, which I'm able to get. Okay. So the next question is from Allie. And Miss Allie, I believe, oh, here we go. Let me just get exactly what you said. A little bit of hunting. All right, so Allie Coy says, are there any messages for my path? All right, so this is for you, my dear. This is Miss Allie Coy. Before we get into that, I just want to, oh, yay! Thanks, Zach. Zachary, I can see that. You're going to be next. All right, so as for the space that you're in, I want to gift you guys a little sonic freshen up. These are some bells. So if you are willing and desire this to cleanse the space you're in, you can give permission internally or externally to allow these sounds to move through your space wherever you may be and bring forth the restorative cleansing vibration needed. Two more. I hope that didn't blow your eardrums. All right, now for you, Allie. Oh, and for anyone, I'm going to put this on here before I go in. This is my motto. Dun, dun, dun. Don't turn around now. You've got somewhere to go. You might not see that the past would have taken you in undertow. So, they want me to speak to you through them. All right, let's see. That's interesting. They want me to keep singing. So this is, first I'm going to sing you this little song, and then maybe they want to drop back in, but they help with these songs. So, there is a chamber that holds the secrets to who you are and who you become. But to open up the door to let the future in, you got to remember the keys within. Take a peek at the future. Remind yourself that it holds you. Leave what cares not and hold the rest to be. Harness that will not encounter you within the resolving and dissolving all that holds you. That the footsteps before are bold and strong. That the arms that you carry know how to carry for long. For the path is not one that will rest before you're done. One that will not rest before the dawn. So carry the burden until you are ready for the light to shine on. Carry the burden until you're ready for the light to shine on. So the image I had that they're kind of sending me is this image of this woman, and she's walking, and she's carrying something that she wants to just the past, something that has been heavy, something that feels old, or feels like maybe it's a story or something that's been told over again, or something just like, I'm ready to have this out of my system. I'm done with this. And the image I had was the importance of not just letting that go for, what's that word? Or not granted. They're going to translate. All right, here we go. You need to know that what has been carried within you for so long, June 2008, in you, deserves to have a final resting where it can be truly respected for the lessons that has brought you, okay? That what has been carried is not let go of yet. To not turn around yet. To not feel that the journey that you have ahead of you is a waste of time, a waste of expending too much towards something that will not deeply satisfy you. Okay. It's that weight of resilient trust that wants to be proven, that wants to be validated, that part of you sometimes, a part of many of you, that desire to know that what you are carrying has purpose, has reason, that there is a reliability in the cause of the reactions that you've created. I don't know if that, not sure if that makes sense. We'll reword that. Do not turn back because what you are carrying feels heavier than what you feel you can carry into the future. The feeling that in order to move into the future, you must be lighter, you must drop baggage, which is true. There are areas in your life, streamlining would be good. almost less French, less French. But there's something that you have been carrying that is heavy. But that heaviness is not the heaviness that must be left behind you. It is the heaviness that deserves to explore what it can become. It's not done incubating. And in the incubation process, dreams and visions and desires can become heavy. But they become heavier. The heavier they are, the closer to being born. Okay? Just like a child. The heavier you are feeling this vision, the more it's requiring from you, the more you're being fed, you need to feed it. And in some ways being fed, the closer to being born it is. And when it is born, it will be able to take life, not until after it receives life from you. So trust that you do not need to relax to the point of releasing your attachment to this very important weight. You'll be ready to receive it. And it will require more of you than you can expect or experience yet. But at some point, it will be able to take the root and the foundation and its own momentum. Trust. Thank you. All right. Oh, I got to see your other question, which I think they answered. Path about. Okay. Well, she asked another question, but I hope you were able to get the answer through what the other question is. I'm wondering about my partner relationships. I feel on my path with business and home. Okay. Is your partner French? There was something about French person. Okay. So, moving on, I hope that was, and in relation to a relationship too, wondering if, I think I probably need to have a little more understanding of your relationship, but if it's a long-term relationship, perhaps they're speaking to that, or speaking to that, it is worth the journey. But if it's not too, it might also be speaking to something that you've been carrying for a long time regarding the quality or the caliber of your relationship and what you desire to feel possible in your life, and to not leave those desires behind because they're feeling the weight of them is coming forth, or that whatever has been. So those are two different angles, if that's helpful. All right, so moving on, I have space for one more question, which will be for you, Zachary. So Zachary asks, I can show it. How do we responsibly balance our care? Oh, the French person in the past, that's cute. Leave that. All right. So Zachary, how do we responsibly balance our care for the world with this collective government game we are playing, with a need for sanity, peace of mind outside of conflict? All right, I'm going to say that again. How do we responsibly balance our care for the world with this collective government game we are playing, with a need for sanity, peace of mind outside of conflict? All right. So this is a balance. Let's see what they have to say about it. I do a little shaker. My fun little shaker. All right. If your if your government, if your government doesn't create a callus on your sensitivity, then something else may. Okay? So in life, there are restrictive qualities and nature of existence that come into play for us to experience the capacity of growth. Just like that seed that grows through the pavement, that tiny morsel of intelligence that desires to push through what seems impenetrable and to bring its life force to be witnessed. And knowing that that witnessing, when we witness those small acts of brilliance, brilliant nature incarnating the resilience within us needed during these times, then is it not what you may be experiencing, or many experiencing with the government, this imposed regime, just like a concrete is poured over the great Mother Earth. The land is scraped bare, and then the concrete is pulled and poured. The desire for the road, the desire for direction, the desire for a desired outcome, which a road symbolizes. The road is leading from A to B. Okay? In some ways, the government, though they may appear to be leading in many directions sometimes, are generally like that road right now, especially in the States. A to B. Here is my plan. Here is the direction. Follow. But that seed, and not just that one seed, but the many seeds that are laying dormant between that road, beneath that road, or the many seeds that are growing. You see, if there can be one crack, then more can grow through, for the light can shine in. The more cracks that come, the more resilient brilliance within each of you. The desires to move up from hiding, from feeling squashed, from feeling restricted, constricted by the environment. Know that even the pavement itself is made of the earth. Repeat, even the pavement, even the concrete itself is made of the earth. And the earth has intelligence. And if you can speak and ask the intelligence of those particles of stone, those particles of the earth, to make way for life to move through them, you'd be surprised what can happen. So in your life, if there is something that feels so restricted that it's been hard for you to experience or explore just how to persevere against it, or what we'll say is moving from against to moving to through, okay? Moving against the pavement is not what the plant does, okay? The plant, the divine consciousness of life, moves ever so slightly through the spaciousness that's available. And if that spaciousness is just the tiniest, minute amount of spaciousness, that's enough. That can happen with your government too. Even if it feels like a road slapped down, covering all the potential, we want to tell you that there is spaciousness available. So to balance your life, to care for your life, in this. We want you to care for the parts of you that have forgotten just how resilient and capable of shift you are when connecting with divine right intelligence of the system that is imposing itself right now. There's always room for growth through the complexities. We can't tell you quite how that will look, but come October, November, if there is a way, Sarah's telling us you have this radio channel, that is part of the process. Finding where your outlet is, where your genius, where your innate desire to bring seeds to fruition, lines of consciousness. Who knows what that consciousness will do with those seeds? This came up earlier in the first transmission we did, where consciousness affects the planet because it ripples into the actions that are taken on the planet. So to take care of your consciousness, everyone. If you're listening, if there is something that you've been feeding into your consciousness that is actually disempowering your capacity to believe in just how resilient and creative and spacious life can be for you and your desires when in right relation with your soul's contract to this planet. Remember, make a little space. Commit less to what is feeding a different agenda. Notice if your energy, if your desire and passion is being siphoned to others' visions or agendas that aren't necessarily feeding your soul's course outline. Honor that at some point you must have allowed these energies to siphon off of you, for they are in need. But it's time to cap that and to take whatever resources you have now to fuel the momentum that you're carrying, because that's important. It is not a time of giving out your resources in the same way as you may have in the past. Close that cap to your car and allow your car to drive on as much fuel as it has until you're ready to fuel up again. Okay. Thank you. So that was for you, Zachary, and for any beings that are feeling that, are feeling the impact of feeling systems in the government, systems around us that may feel like that concrete slab being put down over Mama Earth, and this is the direction, this is the intention of this strip of land. We can always wiggle a little bit through that. So thank you all for joining me today. Thank you all that have, there we go. And I want to thank all of you that are witnessing this in the future too, for allowing yourself to follow whatever inkling or desire you've had to explore some of these answers, which are going to be in the minutes. So I'm going to have the answers in the minutes. So if you want to, you're welcome, Zachary. Yay. So you're welcome to go through the minutes, and I have all of my previous episodes in my Facebook, which is Sarah Burns and the Invisibles. I'm gonna here is I did. La, la, la. Thanks for bearing with me. I'm still working on this. Well, at least I can put my website up. And on the agenda, I'm just going to put, why is it not letting me do this? Okay. So for any of you that aren't familiar with my work, I actually have a YouTube channel, which is I started when I was doing the invisibles just by myself with my tripod. And it was my ice breaking, getting myself a little out there. So I do have, here's a whole bunch of different, oh, how do I do this? I'm putting a link. I'm still kind of new to this, so I'm this new program, this Be Live. All right, so I just put a link in the comments, and those will have different things from, you can look them up from my Facebook, my websites. If you actually, I'm gonna make this one's a little easier. I have a SoundCloud as well, so there's different audio transmissions that are from other transmissions I've done. My YouTube channel is a lot shorter, like they're about like eight minutes long. And here's, sorry, this is a better. Boom! And if anyone is in Victoria, BC next week, or Salt Spring Island, I'm going to be teaching a class on energetic hygiene. So thank you all for coming here and joining me in this temple, this hearth of wisdom. Thank you, Invisibles, for allowing yourselves to move through me, and for me allowing you to move through as well. So to close this, I'm going to end with a beautiful bow and just allowing this to center and calm and ground all that's been shared. And knowing that, you know, like I say, believe it. I'll show it. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, wait. So believe it, receive it, leave it, or lend it. So I hope you're able to believe anything that's been shared today, received anything that's been shared today. If there's anything that you need to leave today, even if it's just wisdom that's come through that doesn't sit well, you can just leave that. And if you want to lend it, so the lending is the important part. That's if something's come through today and it doesn't quite make sense, you can lend it into Pachamama, you can lend it into the earth and come back to it another day. And I'll have your minutes I'll send you personally so you can come back to the transmission if there's more that you wish to glean. So thank you all once again, and I will be here Wednesdays, 2:30 PST. So every Wednesday, unless there's a bunch of information saying otherwise, I am here for you, and I hope I can figure out the technical stuff next time. So thank you so much. I am ending this broadcast. Aloha.